Look at history. Every major war reshapes the global order in ways we never expected. It doesn't just change borders. It doesn't just change political power. Most importantly, it fundamentally changes the very nature of what we call money. For centuries, humanity sought refuge in gold. Then came the absolute dominance of the US dollar. But now, a new entity is emerging from lines of code: Bitcoin. But why, when the first shot is fired, does the crypto market react so violently and paradoxically? Are we witnessing the greatest financial transition in human history? In economics, there is something far more terrifying than bad news uncertainty. When war breaks out, markets don't just react to what is happening. They panic over what might happen next. Every investment plan is torn apart. Unanswered questions begin to haunt the world. Will global supply chains collapse? How high will inflation soar? And most importantly, is your wealth still safe within the traditional banking system? History shows that when darkness falls, capital flees to the safest havens. For millennia, that meant gold and government bonds. But in today's hyper-digital world, the very definition of safety is being severely challenged. Recall what happened when the Russia-Ukraine conflict erupted in early 2022. In just a matter of hours, the fear and greed index hit rock bottom. At that moment, nobody cared about profits. They only cared about one thing: how to get their money out of the danger zone. As banks shuttered and sanctions loomed, uncertainty was no longer an abstract concept. It became a battle for survival for every investor's wallet. Here is the paradox. If Bitcoin is digital gold, why? Does it crash the moment the first shot is fired? The answer lies in two words: liquidity shock. In the opening hours of panic, major financial institutions enter risk-off mode. As stock markets bleed, they face margin calls. To save their portfolios, they are forced to sell whatever is liquid and profitable. Bitcoin, with its 24/7 market, becomes the world's first ATM. Insofar Bitcoin's value. It's treated as a high volatility, high beta asset. When the US dollar index DXY spikes, everything else must bow down. Modern wars are not only fought with missiles or tanks. They are fought with lines of code in the SWIFT system. When a nation is cut off from the dollar system, they don't just lose the ability to trade. They are erased from the global financial map. Assets are frozen, banks are isolated, and cross-border transactions become impossible. In the shadows of these sanctions, an escape valve emerges. A system that requires no government permission, that cannot be frozen by any treasury. This is when crypto transforms from a speculative game into a parallel financial rail. There is a paradox here that only seasoned investors recognize. In the short term, war is Bitcoin's enemy. It causes panic, mass liquidations, and the flight of institutional capital. But as the dust of the crashes begins to settle, another truth emerges. In the long term, that is a most powerful catalyst for Bitcoin's thesis. Why? Because war exposes the fragility of trust in governments. When national currencies devalue rapidly, when capital controls tighten, and trust in the old system shatters, Bitcoin is no longer a risky investment. IT becomes only means of survival. Look at what happens in conflict zones. When tanks roll in, the first thing to collapse isn't the buildings. It's the banking system. In Ukraine 2022, as ATMs run dry, withdrawal limits were imposed. Thousands crossed borders carrying their entire wealth in just 12 recovery words. Bitcoin became the bottomless wallet that no border guard could confiscate. In Gaza or Lebanon, where local currencies devalued by 90%, grocery stores began accepting USDT and Bitcoin just to stay alive. This isn't investment anymore. It's adaptation. Bitcoin doesn't need a fancy head office or tellers. It only needs a weak internet connection to keep the financial lifeblood flowing. War is not just a military event. It is a catalyst that accelerates the collapse of old power structures. Look at the bigger picture. The fracturing of the global dollar system, also known as de-dollarization. When trust in a single reserve currency is shaken by sanctions, the world begins to fragment into different financial poles. And within that fragmentation, Bitcoin emerges as an absolute neutral entity. You are not Washington, not Beijing, not Moscow. It is a mathematical protocol that cannot be corrupted. In a world full of suspicion between nations, a trustless currency suddenly becomes the most valuable asset. In the end, war is more than just a military event. It is the most brutal stress test ever designed for every financial system created by mankind. Gold has survived for thousands of years through hundreds of fallen empires. The US dollar has survived to world wars too, maintain its global throne. And now, Bitcoin is entering its own trial by fire, in real time, on the global stage. Every time conflict erupts, markets will shake. Prices may plummet in the short term as panic takes hold. But after the chaos, war always answers one ultimate question. Which currency do you truly trust when governments fail? Volatility is temporary. The fundamental transformation of money is permanent. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Let us know in the comments. Is Bitcoin digital gold in your eyes? Or just another asset in the fog of war?